Your agents want to know what is expected of them to be successful. So if you create that scorecard, they can achieve something and be proud of themselves, and you can be proud of them too, where it's
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
how? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Agency
This
Playbook.
is American Idol. Oh, wait, no, wrong show.
Wrong show.
Wrong show.
Wrong show. It's time for a playbook.
Oh, it sure is. A little birdie told me that we're going to talk about scorecards.
Yeah. Yeah. How appropriate that this is the playbook and we're talking about scorecards.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
You like that?
Huh?
Huh? Huh?
Huh?
So I think this is one of those things that is 1,000% because we like to deal with 1,000% percentages.
Yeah, bigger percentages. Oh.
Yeah, the bigger than 100%, right?
Right.
This is one of those things that every role in your agency should have.
Yeah.
Right? Something that you could track and that you need a scorecard based on quantifiable data for each position that you can tell if you see the numbers, if it's good or bad, the KPIs.
Yeah. Create the benchmark, and then you know whether or not you're ahead or behind.
Yep. What are the most important things in your agency, and what can you do to keep the score, if you will, on each element of that to know if you're trending in the right direction or the wrong direction?
Right. So I know that a lot of folks have listened to various things we've talked about when it comes to tracking, especially on the sales side. You know, we're going to be looking at our talk time. We're going to be looking at the number of quotes, how many transfers they took, various different numbers, and even whether they're posting in some sort of group communication, which, you know, obviously Slack is a great place to do that. At the end of the day, they post their numbers. But if all we're doing is having them post it and not doing anything with that information, I think that we're not taking it as far as we can.
Right. Yeah. So it comes down to to the scorecard for each role. So like Craig said, we have on the agent side, what's their sales? How many quotes do they do? What was their talk time? How many dials? Craig asked for how many times do they take a transfer is another good one. That is a scorecard for the sales agents, just like the tele team can have a scorecard where we do the transfers, the failed transfers, the quoted transfers, the calls and contacts.
Yeah. And you could very simply make an Excel spreadsheet that calculates the average for the week, right? And then you can see it. So maybe if you have a Google sheet, you could give everybody access. Then not only do they post in Slack, but then they also add it onto the Google sheet. So then you're able to get a snapshot from anywhere. You'd be on the island, pull out your phone, and you see what everybody's average is, right? You could do a rolling average and make sure that everybody's above the benchmark. Because if somebody consistently has an hour of talk time, right, every single day, and somebody else has 4 hours of talk time, I can say with pretty high level of confidence that the 1 hour talker is going to have much lower results than the person that's on the phone for 4 hours.
Yep. 100%.
But then you have something to come back to them and talk about, right? You can hit it before it becomes something that's out of hand and becomes a habit, because habits are hard to break.
Yep. And you can do this for all positions and like whatever you want, whatever the goal is. So you always want to work backwards. Like, so if you know like what your number, like let's say you have to sell 100 auto items for the month, and you know each policy has 1.5 auto items on it. Well, now you can work backwards, realize how many that you're losing for the month, right? Take the 1.5 of 100. Gosh, now I got to do math. So 60, yeah, I'll say 67. 67. So you need 67 policies, right?
Close.
Plus you're going to lose, let's say with your retention, you're going to lose 20. So let's add 20. So you need 87. 87, you know, the average in the month of average work days in a month is 21. So divide that by 21. So you need to be doing 4 policies a day. So what I would do is say, okay, if we need 4 policies, then I want to overshoot by 1. So for those days that I don't like to cut it close. So let's say 5. So now we need 5 sales for the day, right? So you need at least 3 agents, I would say, for that to have that, well, just depending on where you're at. But I'd also like to, I like to always overshoot so that we know that we're going to get these results. And then, at that point, you want all 3 of those people to definitely get a minimum of 2 sales a day. So you can work backwards from anywhere, and you develop those scorecards with the benchmarks that they're expected to get. Right. And doing that is how you create consistency, predictability. If we're just hoping and praying for this stuff, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, I know that for a very long time, I understood the idea of working backwards, and I'd always get down to that dials number, and it would be so high that I just kind of said, meh, okay, well, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And if you are in that spot where you've worked backwards and you saw that at some point in the funnel, it becomes obnoxious what you need to do versus what's happening, it's time to really reevaluate what's going on there. Because the thing about the math and going off of quantitative data is it is what it is, right? It's not emotional. It's not, oh boy, I sure hope that works. It won't work if the numbers don't pan out.
Right.
So
100%.
That's what I love about this business is once that's understood and then the commitment is made to doing those things, it's easy, right? It's just plug and play the right people, the right spots, and hold them accountable to getting to those numbers. I mean, I guess it's not easy, but understanding what needs to be done is easy.
Right. And that's the key to this whole thing is that you want to, especially when you're talking about marketing and stuff, you want to know, like, what is it going to take? Like, what specifically, and not to mention, I think that this is probably the most important thing. Your agents want to know what is expected of them to be successful. So if you create that scorecard, they can achieve something and be proud of themselves, and you can be proud of them too. Where it's, if you didn't have that, you could be praising them 1 minute. Oh, great sale. This is awesome. And blah, blah, blah. And then the next minute, it's like, we didn't make it. Like, why didn't we make it? Like, why is this? You know what I mean? So it's like Jekyll and Hyde kind of personality that we get when we don't know. We need to create this stability in our agencies. We need to know this stuff so that we can create the pattern, like the pattern of success.
Right. Yeah. And trying to all of a sudden fix it when it hasn't been part of the culture and then not being consistent with it is also a pattern for failure.
Yep.
So it's just install it, do it. This is the new way things are going to get done, but you got to stick with it because a lot of times what they've seen, and it happened here a lot, and we've seen it countless times at agencies, is new idea. Oh, this is awesome. I'm going to do it. And then it's done for a couple of weeks or a month, and then it goes away. And so it has to be monitored and there has to be accountability. Otherwise, it will go away. People are always going to go towards that path of least resistance.
1,000%. I'm bringing back the 1,000%.
I'll even one up it with 10,000%.
And that's it. So, I mean, like, honestly, having a scorecard for every position is fantastic. Knowing that the KPIs on all ends to get the end result. This is the magic that any successful business has.
Yeah.
That if you don't have is the reason why you might be struggling or something, right? I mean, dude, it's awful because I don't have scorecards for every single position. And this is
Right.
what I'm working on. This is the reason why we're bringing it up, is because I need a scorecard for every position. And that's what we're doing, because the positions that we have this scorecard that we're tracking and measuring always meets expectations, because I clearly know what I want to get and what to expect to make it happen.
Right.
Then everybody that with those scorecards knows what to expect, and then they can achieve it.
Right. And so for a growth agency, a lot, and especially for high functioning producers that really focus on the sales. I mean, you and I are salespeople. We love that part of it. We're the hunters, not the lovers or the huggers, whatever we want to call the service team. But it's as important for them to have those numbers, because think of the new business is what you're bringing in the door. That's one way to grow, right? Is all of that new business. And it's how you have to have that coming in order to grow. But a way that you can grow faster is by keeping that business that you have already written, and by having good, solid processes on the service side, whether it's an onboarding process and metrics behind that, cancellation process, how to follow up and what the expectations are. There's all sorts of things you can do on the service side that are going to help bolster your retention so that there is less refilling what's going out the door and more growth.
1,000%, Mr.
1,000,000%.
Mr. Bolster.
Well, I threw in some fun words today.
You did. And I think that that's a fantastic playbook.
Yeah.
And use it. Define your scorecards and let's just crush it.
Yeah. And if you just found us, thank you for listening. That is all. Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over $10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.